Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this special edition of Hit Talks Live. This special edition is in collaboration with the Independent Women's Summit. My name is Vicky Thomas and I am your founder and your host of Hit Talks Live. However, on the special editions, I pass over the reins to amazing beings that bring together their own 8 speakers to actually spread hope, inspiration and transformation throughout the world. So I will not be hosting this special edition. I am, as I say, passing the reins to the wonderful Valerie. And I know that you're going to have an amazing experience. 8 speakers from 8 different perspectives on hope, inspiration and transformation. No selling, no positioning, just pure intentions from the heart to serve, to get into the heads, to get into the heart, to get into the homes as many people as we can, sharing messages, as I say, of hope, inspiration and transformation. So enjoy this episode and I know it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome from a bit cold but Christmassy Europe. I'm super excited about today's Hit Talk special. Hit Talk special in collaboration with the Independent Women live broadcast. Thank you very much for joining us, and I would love to say thank you very much to the founder of Hit Talks, Vicky Thomas. Thank you, Vicky, for creating this incredible platform and space for people to get the opportunity to experience transformation and changes, as well as to tap into their inner power to have this hope for a bright and beautiful future. With this said, I would like to ask you to be as much present as you can and be open to everything that you're going to learn from all our speakers today, and also allow yourself to step into this transformation, especially during the time we are all experiencing nowadays. And before we start, I would love to share very briefly the vision of Independent Women, and basically it will give you maybe more connection with the speakers that we are going to have today, as well as the information they're going to bring for you. Independent Women is a platform that provides all necessary tools and resources to women to become free on financial, but as well as mental, emotional and spiritual levels. You know, we women have this incredible power that can transform, uplift, nurture, create magic if it puts in the right, let's say, direction. And having all these skills, capabilities, this potential, or I call inner champion, we provide our members with all necessary resources in order to unleash it and give the opportunities to women start building the life based on their own terms and conditions. So keeping this in mind, everything starts in our brain. What kind of mindset we develop in order to go to take the next step, to build, to become closer to our dream. And I would love to basically invite our very first speaker tonight, as she is a global brain activation strategist who is featured as one of the global thought leaders in the movie How Thoughts Become Things, sequel to the hit movie The Secret. Alongside with other world top coaches and speakers like Sharon Lechter, Jack Canfield, and Les Brown, Dr. Marina Bruni teaches how to activate your brain to tap into your energetic DNA, create more powerful choices, and design the outcome you want. She's also an international business lawyer, business advisor who helps businesses to flourish and grow. Please put your hands together and welcome our first speaker tonight, Dr. Marina Bruni.
Thank you very much, Valerie. Thank you, Valerie and Vicky, for having me here tonight. And I want to start by saying that, yeah, the feminine power is really powerful when we unleash it. So I'm very excited and very delighted to be here, to be sharing a piece of me, and maybe we can unleash a little bit of that power together in an evening that is full of inspiration and transformation, which means change. And change is scary and exciting at the same time. And when I look back on my life, on my journey, change and transformations are the common denominator there. And that was since I was very young. Now, as some of you know, I'm an international business lawyer with over 2 decades of experience under my belt, working in finance, global investment banks, and multinational corporations worldwide. I always have 2 drivers in my life. One, intellectual curiosity, which is not being noisy, but it's about having that hunger of knowing or learning, of interacting with people or new experiences. And the second driver has always been that fire, that burning desire of making a difference in wherever I do. And that's what brought me to work on a project with the United Nations in New York City when I was still in law school. And more recently, those same drivers, that same fire is what brought me to be in the movie How Thoughts Become Things. But this is the thing. Was it always easy? Is it always easy? No, of course it's not. Indeed, every time we go through transformation, every time we go through change, let me rectify that. Every time we choose to go to transformation and every time we choose to go through change, because everything is a choice. Whatever it is that happens in our life is by choice. And not making a choice, that's a choice too. And it's a choice to give your power away. So now, going back to the change and transformation, change is painful because we stretch ourselves, we go outside of our comfort zone. It's difficult, it's scary, we torn apart, and it's uncomfortable. But why is that? Why? I've been thinking a lot about it in the last years, and the reason is that that's because we live in duality. It's the duality of our mind. It's right brain versus left brain. It's logic versus creativity. It's rationality versus our heart. Now, I want to ask you a question. Let me ask you this. How many times? How many times in a day? How many times in a week? How many times do you make a decision and then you change it? And how many times you change that same decision? How often do you second guess yourself? And this is not just for important things, big decisions like, I don't know, life-changing decisions, career decision, my next job, my next career move, my next big project. No, I mean also in respect of small things like, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? What am I going to have for breakfast tomorrow? Should I drink a glass of water or should I drink a glass of juice? Just for simple things like that. We don't even pay attention to that because we do that like a remote control on automatic pilot. And so we don't even realize that we are doing that. And that's why, because we are not present in the moment. We're not. Most of the time, most of the people, they're not present in the moment. So we live in duality. Our experience, our life experience here on planet Earth is in duality. But we are meant to be whole. We were created whole. That's our nature. We are whole, wonderful beings. And so, how can we, what can we do to bridge that gap? To reconnect to our nature of whole being, which is our true nature. Well, the bridge is our intuition. It's our true intuition. So by connecting to your true intuition, to your higher power, your higher self, and trusting that connection, believing in that, that's how we can bridge that gap and reconnect to our inner self through our wholeness, so we can transcend duality. Now, excuse me. Yeah, we are live. We are live on stream. So when I say connecting with your true intuition and believing in that and trusting that connection, I don't mean blind faith. I don't do blind faith. Blind faith is guessing. This is not blind faith. There is no guessing here at all. Because the thing is, when you master the art of connecting to your own intuition and higher power, because that is an art, it's a mastery. When you manage to do that, when you master that, there is no guessing. There is no hoping. There is certainty. I say that again. When you master the art of connecting to your own intuition and higher power, there is no guessing, no hoping. There is only certainty. Why? Because you know. You just know. You know. Full stop. How? That's not important. The how is not important here. The how, if we start focused on the how, we get distracted. We get off track. We get lost in all our overthinking, second guessing, multiple option, multiple desire, multiple stream of thoughts, and we get off track, falling back in the duality. So what's important is that you know. And you know being 100%. You know, and because you know, you have no doubt, you trust it. Yeah, knowing and trusting. And that is what allows you. That is what allows you. That is when you transcend duality and become whole. And that's when you become the powerful creator of your own reality. Valerie, over to you.
Thank you, Marina, for sharing your wisdom. It is indeed, sometimes we see this imperfection in our reality, but the truth is that it is a perfect creation of the universe in order to bring us further in our evolution and our growth. And part of this is to actually reach to your wholeness, as Marina said, to tap into your intuition. And I think this is the perfect time when we can actually truly realize who we really are, what we really want, and what we can bring into this world. So thank you very much, Marina. And I believe that the next speaker has so much to give and to share to all those who don't want to settle down and who is on a big mission. Because with over 35 years of business experience, his favorite thing to do is contribute to others and to give away the hard lessons and wisdom he has gained, enabling others to be freed up to fulfill the vision they have to their future and the world. He's an incredible human being with a huge heart, but also with outstanding entrepreneurial skills that allowed him to start and grow multiple businesses in different industries like bank card processing industry, property investment, healthcare, consulting. He spent over 12 years leading personal growth and development programs for one of the world's largest personal development company, and is personally responsible for thousands of successful businesses, relationships, nonprofits, mergers, and legacies that exist only because of the work, incredible work he has done. Welcome, one and only William Wong.
See if I can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now? I think
Oh.
I can hear you.
Okay, Valerie, can you hear me now?
Yeah, welcome. Now we
Okay.
hear you. It's such a
Okay.
pleasure to have you here today.
All right. So sorry for those technical difficulties. So let's see. Let me back up and rewind. So thank you very much, Valerie, for that introduction. Following that, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I say now? Let me start with saying it's an honor and a privilege to be here. When Valerie invited me, I was like so excited. And at the same time, I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to say. So it's like, okay, I have a lot to share, as she says. So let me start with a disclaimer. I get very loud when I get excited. And I'm not angry. I'm not mad at you, or I'm not mad, period. I just get loud when I get excited, okay? So with that disclaimer there, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born and raised and live in Northern California, specifically the Bay Area. And I started working when I was 8 years old, just last month, right? At my parents' restaurant. And as an 8-year-old, it was fun. And it was like I got to play. But as I got older, it wasn't that fun. But one of the things I didn't realize in that working, and also at times I felt like I was a slave, I actually learned skills that I didn't realize until I started my first business in 1986, which I was 26. Yes, that makes me very, very old today, especially when I still think I'm in my 20s. Anyways, that first business that I started, I sold it. It was like 5 to 6 years later. And my plan was to sell it, I think it was like 15 years later. So it got sold early, okay? And then I got into, it was a promotional advertising company known today as Swag, hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, things like that. And then I got into real estate in 1991, and I bought a lot, subdivided it, and built 3 houses on it. And over the course, then I actually got out of real estate because it was late 90s, mid 90s, and the market has crashed. So I got out, not too bad, not with the profit I was expecting though. And then I got back into real estate again when the market was right for it. And I started a real estate company, and I raised over $8 million to purchase residential property and commercial property. I was doing things like condo conversions. And I actually ended up buying over 500,000 square feet of commercial office buildings. Now, here's the thing. You probably heard stories like that before from other people. I did all that with a credit score, also known as a FICO score, because I know this is international. I don't know if FICO is international, of 450, which is very low. I had terrible credit. I had gotten downsized and was just trying to pick myself back up. I say to my partner Rose that I was playing wall ball within the gutter and with the gutter. So in the interest of time, I'm going to hyperspace now to current day. So currently, I own 3 different businesses that I operate. And since the real estate, I've built 9 different businesses in 9 different industries. So currently, I have, as you may have heard Valerie say, I have a credit card portfolio for over 10 years now. And I know people have heard about residual income. That is true residual income. I haven't done a thing in that business in years, and yet I still get paid every single month from 2 different companies, okay? And then I also started and own a CBD company, and that was jumping on the trend of cannabis becoming legal and CBD have all these medicinal healing factors without the hallucination. So it's a great thing. That is my timer, but I'll go fast in the respecting and honoring the time that we're given. The other company is a business consulting company. So enough about me. I want to talk about you. So in case you didn't know, you can accomplish anything you want. Anything. And the only thing that's stopping you from accomplishing what you want is, guess who? It's you. Okay? There's always opportunity if you can see it. However, we as humans tend to listen to what other people say, or the media. What other people say, oh, you can't do that. Every single time that somebody has said to me that I can't do that, guess what I said? Why not? As long as it's legal, why not? So it really is what I don't like using the labels and all the buzzwords, but the shortest way to describe that is mindset. Today, me, I call it attitude. I have a lot of attitude, and so why not? How come I can't do that? So I would say, listen to people that inspire you. I mean, if they don't inspire you, why are you going to listen to them? Why are you going to listen to somebody who says, oh, you can't do that, so-and-so tried that, or when I tried that? Don't listen to them. In actuality, get away from them. They're not doing anything for you. They're not inspiring you. You should also listen to people who have done what you want to do or what you're looking to do. Someone who has the same values that you have. Somebody is headed in the same direction that you're headed. And here's the big one that I always caution people about is the people who are front row spectators. They can speak about anything conceptually, but do they have any experience? I always ask, what's your experience? How many years have you been doing this? You don't ever ask, well, how much money have you made? But, how many years have you been doing it? I want to share a live example that's recent. So I have a rare thing is I have trigeminal neuralgia, which is the 3 nerves on the side of your face. Extremely painful. And with my MRI and conventional medicine says I should have surgery. And I met with a neurosurgeon and he says, I will drill a hole in the back of your head the size of a nickel and then go in through there. I'm going, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So my girlfriend Rose, she's been doing all the work. God bless her. You women can do way more than men. I should have said that in the beginning. But we're looking for alternative treatment. And she found a chiropractor that specialized in this one procedure called NUCA. Younger guy. He's younger for me because he's younger than me. Well, anyways, he was treating me and it was okay. He actually got me pain-free for 40 days and then the pain came back. And I just said, I'm tired of him. I don't like him. So Rose found another chiropractor, Dr. Forrest, closer to us. And when I met with him, was interviewing with him, I said, well, how long have you been practicing? He goes, over 40 years. He's been practicing more than the doctor has been alive, the other guy. So experience for me, and I would recommend that to you, is more than anything. And also, don't follow the media and what's on TV. It's terrible. Do what inspires you. There's no rules. Why wouldn't you do that? Don't give your power away to anyone. It's yours. You're the one. It's all you. Okay? And one of the things that when I'm working with my consulting clients they can't make a decision, they're not sure, and I work with them, and where we end up is a very simple question. They may say, should I do this or that? And I say, which one makes your heart sing? It's got to make your heart sing, and you have to have fun, because other words, it's work. You know, you might as well get a job. Most people, you know, well, not most people, I take that back. You know, there's people who a job is appropriate and good for them. And there's other people like myself who a job, no, won't work. I don't like being told what to do, you know. And so inside those 9 companies, I started a parent company, and it's called From the Heart Companies. And each one of those 9 companies was owned by From the Heart Companies. And each one of those companies had to follow the guidelines that I made up for a From the Heart company, which the basic piece of it was it needs to have a line item expense, just like payroll, taxes, and advertising, that gave back to the community in which it operated. The business is there. It's part of the community. Be a part of it. Get involved with what's happening in the community. Make donations. The more you give, the more you will receive. And that saying or cliche is true. I invite you to try it. It is better to give than it is to receive. I'll say this, and I know everyone's had it at some point in their life, where they've helped someone, another human being. And in that help, it was priceless. The feeling that you got cannot be bought. I mean, literally, it's priceless. And I don't mean that commercial Visa or MasterCard or whatever it is. You help another human being, the feeling that you get is priceless. Okay, the final thing I'm going to say, like in words of wisdom, is take your next step. And that's different for everybody. If you take whatever the next step is for you, you're just moving forward. It doesn't matter what speed you're moving at. Move at your pace. Take your next step. And then if you need help, ask for help. Ask someone, though, who's actually done what you're trying to do. Okay? That's it. I thank you, and I am so sorry for the technical difficulties. I believe it was on my end. User error. Okay? Thank you very much, Valerie. I don't know how to give it back to you, but I think you'll figure that out.
Thank you very much, William. Thank you very much for sharing your wisdom. And please share in comments if you have any kind of aha moments. We are getting closer to a new year, and I believe so many of you, so many of ours have this new year commitments, resolutions. And I think the information that you already received and you're about to get from our next speakers, you can definitely use to shape your next year in a much greater way. And thank you, William, for sharing, because it's true. Everything is in our own head, heart, and hands. And as soon as you make the decision to move forward, make this very next step and actually do this step, it will bring so many changes. You see, when you are disconnected and you basically disconnected with your true self, your intuition, life will put you on the crossroad so many times, again and again and again, until you make a decision, a very important one, to take responsibility for your own life. You might heard so many times about it, but people don't really like to do that. They hate doing that. However, taking this responsibility will help you to evolve all talents that are sitting inside of you, will allow you to move with the flow of your creativity. And the very next step that you should take will be so much easier, will be so much fun, will be so much full of joy because it is you. And I would love to mention that our next speaker, who is tuning in all the way from Dubai, and by the way, it is, I think, midnight there, is a great example how to build this, how to take this next step and build this beautiful life for yourself, but as well as for all others who need this kind of support, guidance, and have somebody who will be keeping your hand in order to. Sometimes it's very maybe scary, maybe you're facing so many challenges in life, but when you have so many amazing supporting people around, that's why we're talking about platforms, about communities, it's so much easier. So this incredible woman, she's a serialpreneur who is all about creating incredible projects, incredible collaborations, and provide opportunities to others to grow. She's a great friend of mine. She's a CEO of Shulks Concept Event Management Company, the executive publisher of Ladies in Business magazine, the managing director of Luxury Flats Apartments, and also founder of Business Innovation Academy. She's not only a successful businesswoman, she's also a spectacular wife and mother, and she's a true role model because it's so inspiring to see how her young daughter is doing her first steps in entrepreneurial journey. So please welcome our next speaker, Adeshola Onadipe.
Wow. Thank you so much for having me, Valerie. It's so much opportunity, and I'm so glad to be part of this program. And I'm going to go straight to a question to hit you with this question. How bad do you want it? If you want it real bad, you just have to go for it. We were never told it's going to be easy. And I'm not here to actually rub your back. I'm going to be candid and tell you the real thing about real life. It has to happen. It's something that we have to go through in life. When you go through so much problems, tribulations in your marital life, in your business, in academic, in every session, but knowing fully well that one after the other, it will be solved. There is no place, even biblically in the Bible, we were told when thou passest through water. It doesn't say if. If it says if, that means you're not going to. But it says when. And when means there will always be a time that something has to happen. But when it happens, I'm going to implore us to stay resilient. Who told you it's going to be easy? No. Imagine gold. The gold we all are craving for. Do you know the process of what gold actually went through before it actually became the finest gold? It went through fire, serious thick fire, beating so many times. So if gold can come out in a finest glory after so many, fire burning, beating and all that, it's not fitted, they had to hit and all that. That is life. And that is how it has been. There is a process. There is a ladder we need to go through to get to the highest top. The view is always fantastic, but to get there is not going to be easy. And like I said, I'm not going to rub your back and tell you, don't worry, it's going to be fantastic, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not the real life thing. When you go through the process, when you go through so many failures, by so doing, your success is guaranteed. Because at the end of the day, when you have your success, those are the things that will train you, that will have given you the emotional training, physical training, and psychological training of how you have come to arrive at your success. Imagine your success was just dropped into your lap. You're not going to appreciate it. You wouldn't know what it cost. You wouldn't know what the value of appreciating that success. But when you really go through the process, you will understand. You can tell the story. You can share your success story, and you can let people know how far you have come. And you can let them know, you know what? I've been there. I mean, when things happen, when I was in the banking sector, and in fact, the first bank I worked, I was sacked in the bank and I felt so terribly bad. But you know what? I didn't give up. Thank God that when I was working in the bank, there was an interview in another bank that I had the test. And when I had the test, I didn't even go back to know whether I passed the test or not. I just left it. So not until when I lost the one I was working with, and I remembered, I said, oh my God, I think I had a test somewhere I've done. Then I went there and they were like, yeah, we've been trying your number, it doesn't go through. Now you're here, let's do it. I said, oh, and that was how I got employed in the next one. The point is, we need to stay resilient and we need to accept any defeat. We need to accept any failure. We need to accept the process. There is, though it doesn't sound joyful, you're not going to be happy, but I tell you, if you can accept it, if you can take it one step at a time, you will realize that it's all for your good. And staying resilient means that you're trying to still, stand your feet, making sure that you're standing by, even though all things are not okay, all things are not equal, they're not coming the way you're planning it to be. But I tell you, if you can continue to stay, you're going to find your feet. And once you find your feet, it's going to be firm and everlasting. And once you have started standing firm and establishment in either maybe your success of the success of your business or anything you're planning for, you will find that it will really last. And once it lasts, that is the end. But so many times these days, we all get weary. We look at every other person's success. We'll be thinking and imagining that, oh, I wish that sister is like me, or how I wish I'm like that sister. Oh, she's enjoying, she has all this, she has all that. No, at some point in time of everybody's life, we have paid the dues. Some have paid the due diligence of enjoying the value of their success. And if you have not paid it, I'm sorry, it's still a debt that you have to pay. There are stages, stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't jump from 1 to 6. You have to continue from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until you get to the end. If you have not gone through that stage, it's not going to be something that you will value. And at the end of the day, you will not really appreciate it, and you will not even be able to tell the story to people. And so, like I used to tell people, please, if you know you really want something bad, really, really bad, you have to stay true to your process. You have to stay true to your dreams. Go through training, go through learning, have some role models, some mentors that you can actually learn from. Go through the series of the process. I've been there. I'm not just talking because I just want to talk. I've been there. I've gone through the process. Of course, in fact, I'm still in the process. I'm still very much in the process. There'll be lots of ups and downs. There'll be so many times you want to quit. You want to say, you know what? I'm tired. I'm giving up. But the time at that stage that you're trying to give up, you are very close, very, very close to your success. So I always encourage people never to give up, to always stay resilient, and make sure that if it's something that you want, that you're passionate about it, that you really want to achieve it, you just have to continue giving it a try. Never say never. Continue to do what you want to do. All dreams are valid. There is no dream in this world that is not valid. As long as you can think it, you can achieve it. And if you can achieve it, you can, you just have to spread your tentacles everywhere. When I'm doing my magazine in Nigeria, I never thought I'm going to go global. I just wanted to start something to encourage the female entrepreneurs. And here I am now. I said I'm global. How come? It's a process. There are standards, there are procedures, there are policies, there are trainings, there are failures. I have failed so many times. So many times, so many things have happened to me. Even when, in the event industry, actually, a client has literally bashed a cake in front of me. I went to deliver a cake just because of the color difference. She sent sky blue, and I delivered royal blue. And that's what I always tell people. Get your client exact request that they want. Royal blue is different from sky blue, though they are all blue. And she bashed the cake in front of me without paying. And I was like, oh my God, you don't want the cake? You have not paid me, just return back the cake. But no, she literally bashed the cake in front of me without paying. I felt so bad. But you know what? I learned my lessons to be very, very articulate, to know every various of colors. There is different colors and there are different stages of colors. You have to know whatever you're doing. Like I said, failures will always come. In fact, it's part of success. You have to go through it to be successful. It's not that even though when you have everything, going on around you, fine, and you don't want to accept failure, then you are not ready to be successful. People are going to disappoint you. You're going to have misplacement of staff, teams, your teams, your friends. They're going to run away from you. They will not patronize you. Don't worry. You have to continue doing what you believe in. Like I said earlier, your dreams are valid. Once you can think it, you can achieve it. And once you can achieve it, then it's done. Failure is part of the process. Impossibility, it's nothing. Once you want to do it, just go for it. Don't listen to what people say, just like Williams Wong said. People will always come to tell you so many things. In fact, your family, your immediate friends are the ones that are going to discourage you. When I wanted to start the magazine business, I talked to some people and they were like, "You are not a journalist." I said, "Yes, I'm a banker, but it doesn't matter. I have passion." And that's all why I always preach about passion all the time. Your passion is going to turn into your profit for you at the end of the day. If you can follow through your process systematically, you will see that it will take you to your final destination and you will arrive at your dream at last. And those that told me yesterday that I couldn't do it, in fact, it was actually one of my bosses. He called me one day and said, "I'm sorry." I said, "What, sir? What happened?" He said, "That day you called me that you wanted to start a magazine business. I don't believe you. I don't understand what you mean. But you're not a journalist. I mean, you don't even know anything about media. You don't even know anything about journalism. How are you going to go into magazine?" And I said, "Okay, no problem." He called me and he told me he's very, very sorry that each time he's training people and telling people about, business training, that he's always referring to me, sharing my stories with them. That I have a lady, she said this, I didn't believe her, but look at where she is now. So I was just laughing when he called me on the phone and he was telling me that. So the main thing that I was trying to bring out, that once you can think it, once you have the passion to deliver down your dreams, please do not hesitate to move on with it. There will be so many obstacles that will come your way, maybe financial obstacles or training obstacles. You can just start it. You can continue to fade along the line on the job. As you go on, you keep going on, you continue making it better, you continue to get better, 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 on and on. Just like what I've been doing. And I'm really, really talking from experience in all ramifications for my children. And as a female philanthropist that I am, that I'm so much, I'm an advocate of anything that has to do with women, with young female ones. And as a mother of 3 girls, I've been inculcating this same, injection of never say never to my children. And it's been working. And all I can say is that people will always talk. People will always want to talk you down. So many bad stories will go on about you. You just keep on keeping on. Just keep on focusing. You're going to get hit left and right. Once you get hit, just get back up. Once you get hit, just get back up. It's not easy. And like I said, I'm not going to rub your back and tell you, "Oh, you're going to be successful. It's going to be fine." No, no, no. You're going to pass through the fire. You're going to pass through the water. But when you pass through and you have so much belief in what you're doing, about your dreams, you have the passion, you will continue. And those ones that have thrown the stones at you, you're going to come back and pick up those stones and use it to build you up at the end of the day. So I think I've been able to give you something to actually pick on for, to let you know that you have to stay resilient all the time. All the time. There is no time. Till the day you will die, you will keep on saying so many things that will that will want to distract you. You just keep on keeping on and just keep on focusing while you continue to embrace yourself with lots of equipment that will guide you through your process of your destiny, of your success in life. And at the end of the day, you will surely get it. Trust me. I've been there, and I give God the glory for that. Thank you so much.
Wow.
I don't know.
What an explosion of energy. Thank you very much, Adeshola, for
Thank you.
sharing so many insights. And just summarize out, what can I say? It's true, when you are in the process of searching, you will definitely find the right way, find your way, find the right people and the right opportunities. And you know what? Sometimes we do face things that don't belong to us, maybe not right for us, but it doesn't matter. This is just a sign that it's kind of a moment when you have to take a step maybe back and realign with who you truly are and what you truly want. Because we all can dream big, and yes, as Adeshola mentioned, you have to, because dreams are valid, they matters, but be careful with what probably society, community possessing on you, and always ask yourself, is it your dreams? And I'm grateful that our speaker mentioned that foundation is so much important, that you can't jump from 1 to 6. Sometimes I saw how people do jump from 1 maybe to 4 or maybe to 5, but I also saw how fast they fell down. Foundation takes time, and you will can be frustrated how long time it can take. But you know what? As long as you have this very solid, strong foundations, and I would say roots, you will get an incredible results that will be sustainable. The results that actually mirror you, who you really are, and you will be proud of yourself for all the work you've done, and of course the legacy you built up for others. And I'm so super excited because during the next 8 minutes, you will be learning from another speaker who is a great role model when it comes to hope, inspiration, and transformation, as well as freedom. Because despite facing lots of setbacks in his life, and well, we all face challenges, he's on his way to the perfect, let's say, reality, moving from a low-paid job in administration, enjoying porridge for lunch and cereal for dinner, to being a founder of his own empire, building it, creating it, and becoming absolutely financially free. Nowadays, Ben owns several companies that he brought to 7 and 8 figures in a variety of industries, including hospitality, education and training, technology, cybersecurity, property, and media. Ben is a best-selling author as well, TED speaker, TV and radio personality, and dancer. He has so many, as you see, talents and things he can share with you. He spoke on so many stages to hundreds of thousands of people, and he's passionate about helping others build their own economy, and he coaches many to reach their financial freedom figures as well. Please put your hands together and welcome our incredible Ben Chai.
Hi, everybody, and thank you for that great introduction, Valerie. Adeshola, brilliant talk, and I am having to change my total talk right now because of what I've seen. So, guys, if you've just got just a tiny bit of inspiration from the talks already, that's brilliant. That alone will help you grow in your life. I'd like to just add and build on these talks and say I've met a lot of people who believe in the power of prayer, or they like to visualize, or they have lots of mentors and coaches talking to them and giving them advice, or they have kind of like a map, a diagram where they visualize their goals and they look at them every day, they write their goals down, but they never seem to progress. And that component that really makes a difference is getting out and taking action. So I'm going to change my little story a little bit here and just build on what's been said already. Valerie just said, look, you can't compare your chapter 2 with somebody's chapter 6. And often we get, when we reach a certain level, people are constantly coming and saying, hey, can I have £2,000 or $2,000 and I'm going to make 50,000? But they haven't even done the basic of finance. Now, in the early days when people thought that I was incredibly rich or whatever it is, they would come in and look at me as if I was going to save them. And unfortunately, I did actually lend some people some money. And because they hadn't even learned the basics of finance, they just burnt it and lost it. So as the previous speakers were saying, you've got to build that foundation, build that craft. I get people asking me to introduce them to very wealthy people. And again, when they ask me this question, that they might be they might want to be a dancer who hits a lot of fame, or an entrepreneur who needs a lot of money, but they don't even know how to communicate with these people. And again, when I used to introduce people to people who are very iconic, they would just, again, crash and burn. So you've got to learn your foundation, really learn that foundation. There is so much education online. I was training and mentoring someone recently. I'm going to change a lot in the story. And they wanted to be a gardener. That's it. And I said, well, get some education. And they said, well, I can't afford the education. So I Googled and found on the internet lots of videos. I sent them 10 videos on how to be a great gardener. And this is great because if you've got fast internet, this is brilliant. You can watch so much education which you don't have to pay for. They told me, because they live in a country which has very low bandwidth, that they couldn't actually, well, they couldn't stream it. So I Googled and I found lots of online articles that also taught them how to be great gardeners. And again, they looked at the articles and they said, well, okay, but I don't know how to get the equipment. I can't get the equipment. So I then said to them, look, how about this? You're a member of a church. Why don't you go and speak to your church members, or join a group online of people who are gardeners and maybe get their old equipment? Maybe do that, or even become an intern and go work for a gardener for nothing and learn a craft. And they said, well, you know, I'm a bit scared and I don't have that experience to even go and ask these people for some help. And at this point, I just got frustrated. I said, look, I'm doing all the work for you. You haven't come back with one solution at all. How much do you really want to live? Do you want to spend your time telling me how crap your life is? How your parents don't love you, how you were disowned, how little money you have? Do you want to tell me how you've been beaten up by your dad or a partner that you shouldn't have? Or do you want to get out of your crap? You see, the problem is people who are constantly complaining and moaning about their crap, really, a lot of the time, they don't want to do anything about it. These days, I actually say, look, do you just want to vent and rant, or do you want a solution to your problem? Do you want to work at it with me? That means I don't come up with all the solutions. And you do the one important aspect that's been shared by many of the speakers already. You spend time, patience to build that foundation. Now, some people have actually gone and taken some of the advice that many of us have given. And it's amazing, because when you take one step, and then you take another one, and then you take another one, and then you get hit back. So you go back a little, and then, but you've learned a little bit, and so you go forward and more and forward a little bit. And eventually, when I said that nobody really cares what crap you're in, because actually you're draining people when you're complaining all the time. When you take those steps forward and you get knocked, but step forward and then get knocked back a bit, you actually move forward. And there's a concept called the compound effect. So you actually get better and better and better until one day, as many of the speakers have shared already, you actually hit your dream. You build that foundation that you need. And here's the great thing, when you've taken like 500 or 1,000 steps, the universe says, oh, I'm going to give you another opportunity. I'm going to give you more opportunities. And people see that you are serious, that you don't care whether people, you get betrayed by good friends. You don't care whether the world has had an epidemic and knocked you down. You've got up again and you are saying, yes, I'm going for it. And people then come alongside you. They see that you've learned financial foundation, and they will actually give you money and sponsor you. They will give you an access to resources to people, but they have to see that journey that you've been on. And that's amazing, this compound effect of experience. You just build and build, and you become absolutely amazing. So guys, I want to really end this by saying that there are so many iconic people on this planet. Some believe and pray, some believe in the law of attraction, some don't at all. But they've all done really, really well because they took the actions and they built on their foundation. It might have taken a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. It really doesn't matter. It's your journey. Thank you so much for just coming and listening to some of the speakers, and really hope that you take away many, many things.
Thank you very much, Ben, for taking time, tuning in and being part of this global broadcast and sharing your wisdom. It is true, you know, this is the reality. We all face different kind of challenges, hardships, we have traumas. They can be part of our journey, part of our story, or they can be something that holds us constantly back. Because when you are stuck in this kind of mindset of victim and daily focusing on it, there's definitely nothing that you can rely on to be able to grow and move forward. How else you're going to create completely different reality? Because basically, I believe this is the main topic for us for today. It's absolutely not possible. That's why it's time to take responsibility, make different decisions, and finally unstuck and focus on, like, basically feed your mind with a completely different things. Like, thank you for joining today. For example, you are facing today and listening and learning together. We are learning a lot from people from all around the world who have different stories to share. And you know, financial freedom is a byproduct. Before, you have to figure out how to become free on mental and emotional level from all these limiting beliefs, from all these traumas, from this victim mindset. It's time to be a champion of your life. And this is the basis of independent women, and why I bring independent women. Because if you remember in the beginning, I was drawing a picture of independent woman who is fulfilled, who is content, who is always can find the way how she can deal with things no matter what is going on in an outside world, no matter if it's crisis, no matter what's going on different levels in her life. You have enough tools, you have enough resources to be back on track. And when I was describing this woman, one of the, let's say, role models, the woman that I had in mind is actually our next speaker, because she is a definition, like how we see and perceive an independent woman, because she is on a big mission. She's helping lots of people in this world, lots of entrepreneurs, lots of businesses. She's an award-winning international speaker and award-winning best-selling author, the founder of Inspiring Decisions and the Global Success Society. She provides trainings, business solutions, and guidance to help entrepreneurs and organizations improve their business results by teaching them advanced marketing strategies and cross-cultural training, which positions them for global opportunities. Businesses and leaders from different diverse areas of Africa, Thailand, China, and the Middle East, and many other countries and cities, from entrepreneurs and organizations of all sizes, rely on her extensive background and experience to transform their business. And by the way, recently, Wendy also was a part of a global project initiated by Independent Women Platform. She's one of the thought leaders featured in the movie The Unspoken Truth. Welcome, our gorgeous Wendy Alexander.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I am so excited to be here and honored. Thank you so much for having me. I always like to start off with a quote, and I'm just going to tell you now, I love Michael Jordan. I love basketball and sports. So I'm going to start off with, I can accept failure, but I cannot accept not trying. Michael Jordan. Perseverance is the ability to keep going, to be able to face any challenges that might come our way. It is the ability to stay focused regardless of any distractions. And today, in the world today, we have lots of distractions going on with the pandemic. But with every success, there is also tons of failures. Perseverance is also something that you cannot learn. It's something that you can't go to someone and say, can you give it to me? No, it's actually something that we already have inside of us, that we were born with. I can remember as a child, which I'm sure plenty of you have, been on a bicycle. And when we first started out, we had the training wheels. And then there was a time that we needed it to remove the training wheels. And what happened? We fell down several times. I know I did. I still have the scars on my knees and my elbows to prove it. But guess what? I continue to try no matter how many times that I failed, no matter how many scars and wounds that I had. I did not give up, and I learned how to ride a bicycle. So life teaches us that sometimes, you know, there's things that comes along the way, then you have to pivot. And definitely with the pandemic, there are several businesses that were not online. And so what happened with those businesses? They had to pivot. They had to learn to do something new. When I was living in Dubai, we didn't have Zoom and we didn't have Skype and we didn't have those type of accesses. So then therefore the people who were there, they had to learn to do something different. And there are several people who have had businesses that didn't have an online presence and they pivot. What do you think happened? Do you think they were successful? Do you think that they didn't have any struggles? No, they had plenty of struggles and plenty of failures, just like we all had. But are they still here today, or did they have to close? I challenge you today to go look at some of those businesses. Regardless if they're here today or if they had to close, you can still learn something from what they had to go through. Success isn't one path. It isn't one direction. It's lots of twists and turns, as you can see. We have our ups and downs, but eventually we get at our destination. Now, for me, I am directionally challenged. I can have a GPS in the car, and still get lost. Okay. And especially when I was in Dubai, I was like, this is not what it says. And I'm so used to being in the States where it will say exit such and such. Well, guess what? When I started driving in Dubai, I didn't see that. And I was like, where am I supposed to get off the road, lady? But guess what? I continued to push. And I was like, I'm going to get to my destination, regardless if I have to ride around all night. And to be honest with you, when you miss an exit in Dubai, you ride a long time. So it took me, instead of 20 minutes to get to a destination one time, an hour and 45 minutes, but I got there. I didn't give up. And when I lived there, I knew that there were going to be lots of challenges that I was going to have to go through. I knew that there was going to be language barriers. I knew I had to find a place to live. I was leaving my family. I am a mother of two and married. I have children. My son just graduated today. He was my last one from college, so we are finished with that. But there was a lot of sacrifices. But I said, when I go to Dubai, I am going to build this business. And I know that it's not going to be easy. I know that I'm going to have a lot of challenges. I know that I'm going to run into a lot of roadblocks. There's things that I have to learn. Even after been traveling there for years, when I lived there, it was totally different. But I continue to push and I continue to build my businesses. And I was able to take other women with me, which I'm doing today. And now I'm able to travel all over the world. But again, it has a lot of roadblocks and things that I had to learn, but I didn't give up. You know, just like I told you in the beginning, I love Michael Jordan. And I love the way that he was able to persevere through all of his challenges. So let's just take a quick look really at his life. And I want you just to close your eyes and just honestly think, this sounds familiar, or can I relate to what he had to go through? Maybe I'm going through it right now. And maybe I'm feeling like I just want to give up, that I don't want to push forth, that I just want to be done with it because I don't want this business. It's too stressful. The pandemic is taking it. What are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Or are you going to keep going? Because there are so many people who have been in that position before. And so just like Michael Jordan said, he said, I missed more than 9,000 shots. And in my career, I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the winning shot and he missed. I failed over and over and over again. And that is why he succeeded. And when he was in his sophomore year, if you know anything about basketball, he tried out for his varsity basketball team. And the coach said, no, you cannot play because you're too short. I'm sure that coach really regrets that today. He was extremely disappointed, but he had to be able to accept the rejection as a challenge to proceed and to improve. So look at Michael Jordan. If he had given up, if he had taken what someone said, the rejection, would he be the greatest player of all time right now? He does have a little competition right now, but still he's the best player in my book. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your goal is or how long it takes you to get there. Just remember that you can do anything that you set your mind to, but it takes action. It takes being persistent. It takes the courage to face your fears, to remove the doubts, the self-sabotage that comes in our way. And if you truly want something, what if you quit? You'll never know if it worked or not. All it takes is one yes for your dreams to become your reality. So don't stop trying. And this is my last quote that I want to leave you with. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Thomas Edison. So I challenge you today to keep going and to not give up, to dig deep, to ask for help, ask for support, whatever it is you need, but just don't give up. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy, for this powerful and incredible speech and reminding about the, once again, foundations that the legends, champions in sport, they are what actually they use to grow and build up their career to be successful. And you know, it's applicable to not just to sport, it's also applicable in business, it's applicable in everyday life. How do I know? I am used to be an athlete, a world champion athlete as well. And you know what? Today I have also a privilege, maybe first time in the life, I have a privilege to also announce another world champion who is going to join us this broadcast. And why I'm telling the first time, because let me go a little bit back and put it this way. We're talking a lot about success, about how basically reach and make our dreams come true, how to create different reality. But you know, it can feel that sometimes we are alone on this path. But as you can see, it's not true. There are so many successful people who are presenting their perspective today. And you can see they all face different types of challenges. They overcame a lot of difficulties in life. So basically, you are not alone. And the power is nowadays the new rules for the game of success is collaboration, is support, is providing each other with all necessary resources. And why I'm talking about that? Because it's important not only in business, it's also important in your private relationships. I'm very grateful to have a business, life, and sport partner who always created space for me to be able to self-actualize myself, to always go for my all crazy ideas. It's important to keep space for your, whether it's life partner, whether it's friend, whether it's family member, whoever it is. Because we were born here not to just self-prove and assure all people in this life how amazing and grateful we are. Because we are. By definition, we are all unique. We are all amazing. We are all capable. It's about to discover your different dimensions of your soul, dimensions of your body, dimension of what you can do more in this life. Accept it, embrace it, and becoming better in it. And why I'm talking all this thing to you? Because I want to invite the very next speaker, who is my, people say better half. I would say we will always be performing everywhere in sport, also in life, like 100-100. There is no 50-50, there is 100 and 100. My husband, who is an amazing role model for those who wants to be life champion. A person who is really genius in everything what he's doing. Because he's a world-class consultant, he's a visionary, an award-winning speaker, and a world champion athlete, as I mentioned. His experience is ranging from building up multi-million sales systems, investment portfolios, as well as helping innovative startups to spread their wings in the world of digital technologies and platforms establishments. As an international award-winning speaker, Jeremy Prosetio was educating, sharing his knowledge and wisdom on the biggest European, South African stages, as well as in US. And today, he is joining this event to share his perspective. Welcome.
Wow, what an honor to be on this show, and thank you to my wonderful wife. How she said, 100%, we are a team, we are going through life, and we had the privilege and the honor to win the World Championship together. And this connects us, but there are so many other things that connect us. I also want, before I start, give thanks and appreciation to Vicky and her team for setting things up, for setting the stage and making it possible that all these amazing speakers that you've heard and the others to come have the opportunity to share what is really important for them. And one of the things that is really important for me and I would like to share with you are how to get to where you want, how to build success. And to me, business, life, and everything else is actually comparable to a sport. And how to achieve this, you need to understand the anatomy. And it's great that we are here with 8 speakers. We are here with the number 8, and the 8 is something special. So 8 means abundance. 8 means wealth. 8 means success. 8 means infinity. And I'm going to show you 8 books in the next 7 minutes left, and then give you my ideas along to that. So the first book, Anatomy, The Anatomy of Success. What's the anatomy of success? To me, you can know how to do multiple things, but if you really want to be successful, you need to understand what is behind that. And when we trained for championships, for example, we were training the basics over and over. And sometimes you just want to go and do the things that you see, but you forget that there's a way to it and there's a basic that you need to train. And if you look at ballet dancers, for example, before they perform, they warm up their body with basics 8 hours before the actual performance. And this is really crucial to understand, because if we look at the business is built on principles, and life is built on principles. And sometimes we translate the principles into methodologies, into models, and then we call it physics or something else. But basically, it's principles. And the first principle I would like to talk about is strategy. And choosing a strategy is the most important thing. Why? Because most people don't have a strategy. And there's been a study made, only one out of 20 people have a goal. And to me, a strategy means having a goal, a plan to get there. And it doesn't really matter what you understand about a strategy. And in fact, if you look at Amazon, and you search for strategy books, you will find over 100,000 results. If you just look at the definition of strategy on Google, how much? 2.3 billion results for definition on strategy. So it's normal. Everybody understands something different, but we need to choose ours. Next principle. Habits. The power of habits, and especially during the corona, during the pandemic, during the lockdown, it's important, because what happens? We are doing things over and over. When we do things over and over, 21 days in a row, we created a habit. So imagine, just think about it, what kind of habits you created during the lockdown. Did you work? Did you do something that moves you forward? Did you create a habit that actually hinders you, that puts you into the comfort zone? You choose. Next principle. This book is called 41 False Stars, and written by a lady who was a successful entrepreneur. And actually, this lady tried again and again until she succeeded. And we only can succeed in business and life when we really try and when we learn from it. And this also means, if we translate it into business, we need to measure what we have done. We need to make it visible. And if we measure and have certain KPIs, key performance indicators, then we know what has happened. And then we can fine-tune. Then we can take one of those KPIs, tweak it a little bit, and go one step further. And if you think about sports, for example, high performance sport, think of Usain Bolt. Do you think he has measured how fast he was running? Do you think during the time he was training, he was actually pulling weight and sprinting with it? Do you think he was always measuring and increasing this, and his coach helped him to do that? Yes, of course. Next principle. Winning the talent wars. Do you think you can win a super talent? There are ways, and actually, if I tell you, it's very hard and sometimes intimidating. If we see somebody who's so talented, who's so good and passionate about something, then we think we cannot compete at all. We should give up. But actually, in fact, business studies, sports studies show that a super talented person actually, the least amount of cases, becomes a real champion. What actually belongs to that is really pushing through. And translating this to business, I give you one example. If I train a lot of salespeople, and when you look at their behavior and you analyze these KPIs that I talked before, when they do the follow-ups, most people give up after the first time. Then there's actually people who give up after the second time. But if you want to win a deal, you need to try at least 8 times, an average. Sometimes 15, sometimes 20, and sometimes it takes 1.5 years to close one deal. Just take that into account. Next one. Straight from the gut. If you know Mel Robbins, she invented the 5-second rule. And this means 5 seconds to decide, because your gut feeling is often right. And we make decisions on the spot. We are trained to that. We are human beings. We are living animals, and we have it in us. So we know the answer. So let's decide fast and go to the next one. Tribes. You need to build a tribe around you. This is one of my favorite topics. But what does a tribe mean? It needs to be built on certain ethics, on values, on things that connect us together on a shared interest. And then we can lead from there. And it also means we need to have a culture around it. A leader can also be involving a coach, a consultant, and every big company has consultants and coaches. Think about this. Last book I want to show, Smart Thinking. Take a step back and look what you have done, what is happening. Sometimes we are too much in the business. Sometimes we need another perspective, and sport teams always have other perspectives. May it be the audience, may it be the coach, and they actually succeed because they get an external perspective and then can improve. I want to close this with telling a story, and this is one medal that I was dreaming always to have it on my chest, singing the national anthem and being proud of representing my country. And we were lucky with my wife that we won these medals. But what happened after this? Well, and my wife knows this very well. After I won this medal, I actually had a depression, because I had the false impression that this will make me happy. It did not. So the game that we play is not a finite game. It's an infinite game. And this is what Simon Sinek explains in his new book. And you cannot win, for example, such thing as a marriage. You need to understand that if you really want to succeed, it's a continuous journey. And the journey continues, also the journey of this HIT Talks. So I want to give my thanks and appreciation and hand over back to our beautiful host, Valerie.
Thank you very much, my love, for sharing these incredible things with us. And you were talking about, Jeremy was talking about anatomy. Anatomy, whether we take our body or we take our career, we take our businesses. Anatomy of success, it's a foundation. This is very important, but it cannot just function if we will not start fueling it with the energy. Like, for example, you were talking about strategy, to come up with the right strategies or develop right habits that bring us forward, tap into our talents that we are given by the universe, as well as listen to our intuition, or build the tribes or community of the like-minded people, and basically being in this mode of smart thinking. It requires energy. And you know what? No matter if you're a champion or not, I think we all learned this year how important it is, self-care. And transformation requires lots of energy. In the beginning, I asked all of you, and by the way, how are you there? Just type in comments if you have any questions. If you have any kind of sharings, it's so important to share what do you feel after listening to 6 speakers. We have 2 more. So basically everything requires enormous amount of energy, and as I mentioned, stay present. And you heard it many times. But why so many people are not able to stay present, and their mind, their monkey mind, all the time is traveling somewhere else? Because they don't have enough energy. And no matter what we're doing, whether doing just like simple activities, having enough capacity into providing this with the right energy is so important. And how important it is? Well, let me tell you that our next speaker is an absolute expert when it comes to being fit, to energize yourself, have a great shape, and be open for changes and transformations. Sandy Joy Weston has owned and operated health and wellness companies in the Philadelphia area for over 30 years. Early in her career, she became the first female trainer for Philadelphia Flyers. Sandy also spent many years as a media personality and as Philadelphia NBC 10's fitness experts. As you can feel, we have an incredible energy speaker who is going to share lots of things with us. She founded SJW Productions, an international company whose main mission is to highlight all the positive in the world and how people come together to reach their individual and common goals. Give a warm virtual welcome to our next speaker, Sandy Joy Weston.
Thank you so much. Val, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, holy freaking moly. I want to dance around the house. And I was like dancing in my seat. I couldn't wait to go on. And I feel so privileged to be here with everybody. But before we get started, I have to ask you, what is your superpower? That's right. What is your superpower? I love this. Wherever you are. Well, if you're driving, don't do it. Just raise up your hands, stretch it out. What would you be if you were a superhero? I have things like this all over my house to remind me of my power stance. Now, my middle name is Joy, and I love spreading joy in any way I can. So for me, my superhero for this month is unstoppable joy. I want you to think about that. If you have a piece of paper, you can even draw a stick figure. What would your superhero do? You know, when I was doing this, I was originally doing it for kids ages 8 to 12. I was asked to come into different schools and write some books to help reduce anxiety. And the thing is with kids, first of all, they're so much fun. They want to have a good time. They're eager to play. They said, you know, Miss Sandy, we don't want to think about that anymore. They told me, I want to think about what I can do. And I thought, woohoo, that's what I want to do too. So if you took a step back and you took a deep breath in, I want to know, think about even just for today. What did you do incredible? What did you do that you could say, I got it going on? And then what can you work on to go from there? For me, with a lot of my clients, I sit down with them. I say, okay, I know you're going to tell me about everything. Oh, I didn't do that. I got off the speaking engagement. I ran too long. I thought I mumbled myself. They're going to tell me every little thing. I said, no, pish. We can work on that later. And we can, because I want to develop the skills. But for now, I want to know everything that went right. What went well for you today? And then how can we build on that? I was thinking about that. And I told the kids, and the kids are like, the average age was 10. They said, you know, I was wondering, you're doing this for us, but could you do it for my parents too? And I said, you know what? We would like it the same way, right? There's just times that we forget. We work so hard, and we all know how incredibly much we want something that we could get wrapped up. And before we know it, We're getting overwhelmed and filled with anxiety. We all have, right? We have to remind ourselves, take a step back, take a deep breath in, relax, and get into that love-based stage. Because I always say you're either coming from love or you're coming from fear. And the more powerful you are, you're in that love-based versus force. So yes, there are challenges and there's times it's going to be really difficult. But for me, I want you to be on that creative side as much as possible. I think about the word superpower, right? And I love superpower for so many reasons. You're superhero and powerful. And if you just look at the word super, I love acronyms. I love using words. I love words. They mean so much to me. Think about S. Think about your strength. You're strong, right? Then think about you. You're unique, right? The you in you. What's unique about you? What do you have in you that's really strong? And then the P is for powerful, because you're truly powerful. But what is that secret power? And then E, you got that energy. You have that enthusiasm. Some days we need to dig it out more than others, but you have it. And then R is for you're ready. Don't wait. Don't wait. I hear so many people say, I want to write a book. I want to do a podcast. I want to do this. But there's so many people out there that, I think they could do it better. I don't know. I better perfect it. Well, when you get perfected, let me know. You got to just run in. And like a lot of the other speakers were saying, you're going to fall. I mean, failure, I don't even like using that F word. Because for me, I just didn't get it right that time. So you got to go all in. And then like everybody was saying, you need skills and you need a plan. Well, guess what? I live by my game plan. That's right. My game plan. That's what I put up there. G for goal. What's your goal? What are you going after? A, the action you're willing to take, right? M, your motivation. You have to be really honest about this. Why do you want it? Why do you truly want it? Because those days, that'll get you out of bed. And the E, the energy level you're really wanting to put into it. I have used my entire life, words, movement, journaling to get me everywhere. And the other secret sauce is I'm able to see beyond what's not right in front of me. I say this all the time and you should use it. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. And then what Jeremy had talked about earlier, that, I know a lot of people when they win things, they got the exciting awards, they're #1 bestseller, they keynote speaking engagement, they're helping people. Things are really great. But then when they're not, a lot of times they'll call me and they'll say, I'm having a rough time. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I call that in the gap, right? When you're not a bestseller, when you're not doing the perfect thing, when you're not doing the speech, can you find joy? And now I use it, pure joy, just for being you, right? If you weren't, all those things are great and they're amazing and you want to have them all, but man, does it feel awesome when you can tap in and tune into yourself and find your worthiness for just being you. Then everything else is crazy incredible when it happens. I had something happen to me last year where I had an injury from mountain biking in my neck that I couldn't literally move for 6 months. I couldn't bike. I couldn't talk. I couldn't do podcasts. I couldn't do anything. I was on my side. And you know what my mentor said? He goes, Sandy, I'm so happy for you. I go, what? You got what you asked for. You said to me, be careful what you ask for. You want to find pure joy and freedom. And can you find that when you're not doing all those things? When you're not writing a book, when you're not speaking, when you're not helping your friends, when you're not a mom, when you're just basically lying there. He goes, I'm so glad you got the gift. Now, I wanted to kill him. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, trust me. Well, it took some time. And there was days it was really rough. But I can tell you, I know now why that was my personal journey. Because when I tapped into that pure joy, just because I woke up today and I show up and I say to myself, this is how I'm showing up in the world. What about you? How do you want to show up in the world? How do you want to come out the gate? That's what I want to know. Thank you. Toodles. I appreciate it.
Wow, super speech from a superwoman. Didn't I promise you a lot of energy? How do you feel, by the way? I know that with the virtual events, it's not maybe so easy to feel this. It's not the same when it's live events, right? But anyway, I believe that our speakers are so powerful today and they are able to transmit this energy and this spirit and this, I don't know, emotions and feelings that they would love you to experience in your life, welcome in your life as well. And I'm very glad that Sandy also covered the very important thing is that we need to start recognizing our superpowers. Yes, it's time to recognize an inner guru in a good way. What does it mean in a good way? Just simply realize how important it is, our inner wisdom, our inner intuition. And let me share something briefly with you. Every day I receive lots of messages, and physically it is not possible to read all of them. But once I was feeling like this was a gut feeling, I need to connect with this person, and we scheduled a call. And we ended up like we were talking over 1 hour about so many topics in personal development, as well as energetical healings, transformations, even lucid dreaming, if you know what I'm talking about. And you know, you're not really able to speak and cover such topics with strangers, right? With anybody whom you can meet on the street, like completely strangers. It was an alignment. It was this kind of when you attract, I told you, right? When you make a decision and right people come to your life, you make right decisions. And it's all about allowing this inner guru to guide you. So voila, all the way from Paris, our very next speaker is tuning in. Basically, this stranger with whom we were talking over 1 hour about so amazing topics. 20 years ago, he created a holistic personal development program called the Wonder Technique that has continued to evolve over the years. David has presented the Wonder Technique at hundreds of workshops and seminars. His formal training is in psychology and nutrition, and he has traveled to over 20 countries, and he also was living in 3 long-term. His goal is to give the fundamental tools of personal development to everyone on the planet. You see, I believe there are no synchronicities that I met David Hennessy a few days back and had this interesting conversation, because this broadcast can be one of the tools to reach lots of people with his unique wisdom. David is going to share in a moment incredible things, so tune in and let's welcome our speaker, David Hennessy.
Thank you very much, Valerie. Really appreciate this opportunity, and Vicky as well. Yes, it's David Hennessy here, and the program I created is the Wonder Technique, and I want to share with you today about the topic of this event, HIT, Hope, Inspiration, and Transformation. How do we look at these things? Hope is something that sometimes we cannot find in our lives. And I believe, and I will tell you a little story in a moment, that hope comes when we believe we can change and change for the better. And the key, as I will talk a little bit about, is that changes we need to make are holistic. They're not just one thing we need to change in our lives. Inspiration, when we are inspired, we need things to stay with us long term. And my friends, when you want something to stay with you long term, it has to be internally motivated. So think of inspiration, you've got the I for internal. And once it's an internal motivation, it becomes an eternal motivation because it rests within you. You're not dependent on other people around you. When we move towards transformation, I think of the word transformation, and sometimes in my mind, as I was just thinking about what I would share in this talk, I thought of transportation, because really we're moving ourselves from one moment in time to another. And the key to make any sort of transformation in our lives is taking action. 2 simple words. Let me take you back to a little story I'd like to share with you to kind of put this in perspective. And then I'm going to share with you, as quick as I can, some valuable tools that you can use in your own lives. The first thing is that in 2009, I moved to France, and this was quite rapid when I did this. It was because my mother-in-law was quite ill. A number of things happened that were, to say the very least, life-changing for me. And one of the things I decided to do to manage stress in my life was to take up rock climbing. I've been hiking for a very, very long time, and I wanted to see what it was like to be able to go higher on the mountain. Like, all of us want to make changes and make things better in our lives. I wanted to go higher in the physical mountains, but I knew I needed to be able to climb to the summit. So I started practicing climbing in a gym, and I had the habit of climbing up and always down climbing, which was quite unusual. Most people just kind of jumped off the wall and landed on the soft ground. And then one day, this was in 2014 in April, my memory serves me correctly, April the 4th, for some reason that I don't understand, I actually jumped down off the wall, and I made a serious mistake. I landed with my legs straight, and there was an electric shock that went through my body. And I didn't realize what I had done, because our bodies are incredibly resilient. But within 2 days, I was in the hospital getting a scan. And I always say to people, it was quite the experience. If anybody listening has ever had an MRI done, I think they were trying to torture me, because inside the MRI, they were playing publicities in French, which at that time, I wasn't able to speak fluent French. So it was really quite the experience for me. But that was only the beginning, because when I got out of the machine, what happened was that the surgeon, and it was really good, there was a surgeon available. He said to me, Mr. Hennessy, you've got a choice here. And my choice for you would be that you're operated on. You've did a double herniated discs in your back, and it's going to impact your way to walk. And he was right that I was going to have a challenge to walk. In fact, for 6 months, I wasn't able to walk without intense pain. Medication didn't work, but I chose not to have an operation. And this is where I want to share with you something that's extremely valuable. All the speakers have been talking about making changes and making movement in your life. I lay on the couch with my feet up on a cushion. I thought about my children. I thought about my family. And I thought, what can I do? Now, I've been teaching the Wonder Technique for 15 years prior to this, and I've been actively using it in my life. And I really believed that the holistic approach was important. But the key was how I was going to think about things. I needed to take action. I needed to focus my mind. And this is where I'm going to share with you something that's very actionable that you can take away in your life, because this is what I want you to practice, try out, test, maybe share with a friend. And this is this practice that I have, which I call Framing the Day Protocol. Every day at the beginning and the end, I perform the following action. Perhaps you remember this experience when you wake up in the morning and you've got that kind of dazed feeling, you kind of that foggy feeling. Well, I want you to remember the acronym from the word BAT, B-A-T, beta, alpha, and theta. Beta is where we're at right now. I hope you're listening and your mind is active and you're receiving information. Then there's alpha, and then there's theta. Alpha and theta, as you're moving into sleep, that's the brain waves, and you start to get a bit drowsy. But this is when your brain is incredibly susceptible, your subconscious mind. So what you're thinking about at that moment in time, my friends, is extraordinarily important. You can take control of your mind when you recognize this. And what I do, actually, to back up a little bit, before I go to sleep at night, and some of the speakers mentioned this already, I take the time to write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. It doesn't matter what it is. It might mean that I've food on the table, my children are healthy, I've got hair on my head. It's not important, but you're training your mind to focus on the positive. Because when you focus on the positive things somehow magically show up. And then as I go to sleep, as I start to drift away, I think about things that are really important to me, things that are valuable, my family, my friends, what I want to see in my life. That the key here is not to think of it in terms of words, but to actually start to visualize a film in your mind where you're seeing what you want to have happen as reality. And for those people who know me well, they know that somehow by practicing this over time, it makes an enormous difference. So remember that protocol as you go to sleep at night. Then first thing in the morning, I do the reverse order. I start thinking about what I want to see experienced in my life. And before I get out of bed, I write down things I'm grateful for. This is framing my day. It's framing my mind as to what I want to see happen. Now, if I jump forward in time, 2018, March the 7th, I got a call from a friend of mine after I started walking again a couple of years, and Dirk invited me to go and do a marathon. And I wasn't so sure because I'd never ran before. I'd hiked, but I hadn't ran. And I thought, what a wonderful test of my mind and my body if I could apply in reality what I've been training inside my mind for years. So I decided I'll go for it. Now, I'd forgotten at the beginning that March the 7th was when he called me. November the 11th was when the marathon took place. So I trained my mind as much as possible. And what actually happened was 1 month before the event, I injured myself. You know, if you ever slept at night and you twisted your knee or head, well, I twisted my knee and I was not able to run for the last month, but I rehearsed in my mind my ability to complete the marathon. And on November the 11th, 2018, I completed the marathon without a pain in my back, without a pain in my legs. And I realized that this framing of the day was something that was very applicable. So I shared this lots with people. Some of the other speakers have mentioned as I finish up here, what's really important, things don't happen overnight. It is truly a compounding effect. Just like in finance, it builds up over time. And I highly recommend that you frame your day with the way you want it to happen. And when you do this on a continual basis, you'll end up living the life of your dreams. I thank you, everybody, for this opportunity to listen. And I really appreciate you taking the time from your life because you're giving me a piece of your life when you take the time to listen. Thank you very much, Valerie and Vicky, and everybody else.
Wow, thank you very much, David, for this incredible story, as well as sharing this tip, this not even tip, it's a secret of how you can basically completely transform your life, this power that is sitting inside of you. And thank you very much for taking your time and being here, basically taking part of this broadcast and beautifully closing it. You know, I'm so blessed, feeling so blessed. What a flow of information. And it's not just information, it's a golden nuggets from the world top coaches, game changers, successful entrepreneurs who were sharing their wisdom and perspectives. I'm incredibly grateful for being part of it, witnessing, learning, and hosting this event. And as I mentioned, collaboration is a new, very important ingredient when it comes to success. And I want to say thank you very much to Vicky and also the He Talks team for creating this special edition of He Talks, for your incredible work and for making this happen. Thank you very much for all of you who were here with us, who made a decision to finally move forward and bring changes, transformation. And of course, having this hope that there is a much brighter future. And of course, very special thank you to every and single amazing speakers that we had today for your dedication, for your commitment to your mission. And I believe we all have this alignment, a common mission to make this world a better place to be, as well as to bring awareness to as many people as possible that there is a hope for an amazing future. There is an incredible source of inspiration that you have inside of yourself, but also that you can see in this world. And it's time to take the very next step for a huge transformation. Time to liberate your spirit. It's time to become independent in order to create the best reality you can for yourself and others. There is hope, inspiration, and transformation. Thank you very much. And I would like to hand over to amazing, incredible woman, founder of HIT Talks.
Wow, what such an amazing episode. Thank you so much, Valerie, and thank you so much to your amazing speakers for bringing all of this wisdom and bringing all of these messages of hope, inspiration, and transformation into the heads, into the hearts, and into the homes of everybody. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart and from the HIT Talks team's heart for everyone watching the live and everyone watching the replay. And if you're interested in hosting your own special edition HIT Talks, for instance, please do give us a message, because this is what we can do together in collaboration, in alliance. We can really start spreading hope, inspiration, and transformation and making a difference in the world. So from the bottom of my heart, my name is Vicky Thomas. I am your founder and host of HIT Talks Live. I am sending you so much love.